Chatt R Boxx Podcast. 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 Chatt R Boxx Podcast.
You got him, then you got, of course, you got Batista.
Batista. That dude right there. I read an article about him last week that said he basically had an opportunity to work with James Gunn on the Suicide Squad, the last one, but he turned it down because he worked with Zack Snyder on the Army of the Dead movie. And the article I was reading was saying how because he did that was more profitable for his movie career than if he'd worked with James Gunn. But of course, he already worked with James Gunn because he had worked with him on the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah, he did say something else about like not wanting to get like just be known as like Drax. Yeah,
because in the article he was talking about how he wanted to be more like your thespian type of actor that's more well-rounded, that can play multiple roles and that sort of thing, versus being typecast as a wrestler turned actor.
Right. He trying to be the Rock. He trying to be the next Rock.
And then, but in that same article, it was basically, he didn't snub his nose at The Rock. He basically was saying, you know, me and The Rock, we are not the same, you know.
Right.
But if you...
I think he had an opportunity to work with The Rock, and he said he didn't want to work with The Rock.
Yeah. There was something, what was it I was reading? It was where he was saying something about a movie that they had already been in, like one of the Mummy movies or some shit like that. And, even though he was saying he didn't want to work with him, they had already worked together. Now, granted, if the lack of enthusiasm to want to work with The Rock comes from when they were both with WWE, I mean, I guess, I don't know, but me personally, I don't see it as I don't see it as one of them opportunities where you being upstaged or anything like that. It's just, you know, you out here making stacks and shit like that.
Right.
You know, which is what I thought was really good about Black Adam, because The Rock he wasn't like he was probably the biggest star in the whole movie outside of Pierce Brosnan. You know,
right?
Even if Pierce Brosnan and Aldous Hodge hadn't been cast as Hawkman and Dr. Fate, I still think The Rock could have carried that movie on his shoulders. You know, I still,
I feel like
just because
you get a fair shake, because like a lot of people are hating on it. And I'm like, I don't understand why. I don't. Because, I seen that movie get a lot of hate.
Yeah, man. And what's interesting about it, I remember reading years and years ago, because they said this movie has basically been a decade in the making. You know, when you listen to the reporters and you read some articles, they've been saying that The Rock has been talking about making this movie and being a part of this movie for a really long time, you know. So to see it actually come to fruition, I would think more people would be like stoked about that shit. But as with most things, you know, folks want to be like, kind of like that saying, you should never meet your heroes.
Right.
You know, because when you get what you want and then all of a sudden you like, ugh. I know I said I like vanilla, but I don't like vanilla ice cream anymore, you know?
Right.
I mean, I think folks should just be like, you know what? We like it. We ain't gonna front. But I think people just get so enamored in the idea of the anticipation and the want and the desire for things that when they actually get what they want, they're too short-sighted to recognize, I've been waiting on this for such a long time, and now I have it. And now I want to be petty and trifling like this? Man, get the fuck out of here with that.
What's that? And then you got those nitpicky like people that are just like, they ain't happy regardless of what it is. Like, I done heard complaints from the fact that, why didn't he have pointed ears like in the comics? Why didn't he have, you know, like little stupid shit? Like, come on, man, for real?
Yeah. Like, that is corny as fuck, man. I mean, god dang.
I mean, now when you're talking about like a movie like Sonic the Hedgehog, yeah. That shit needed to no. I'm like,
yeah,
you know this CGI, and you make that motherfucker ugly as fuck. And I was like, bro, I don't even understand. I didn't understand the logic to that. Right. And I was like, why didn't they just make him look like the comic, like or the game version? And it was just crazy. Then the internet won because the internet bullied the fuck out of them motherfuckers, and the producers was like, you know what? Our people are right. The viewers are correct. Let's fucking change this fucking Sonic the Hedgehog the way it looks and make it better.
I mean,
and then to top it off, they made a joke about it in the fucking Chip and Dale in the Rescue Rangers movie. And that made it that much better.
Disney taking shots at him like that.
I was like, yo, this is they said, what's up, ugly Sonic? And he was signing autographs. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Wow. Y'all are doing too much right now.
Somebody tell them they need to slap themselves for that bullshit. That's funny, though.
Yeah. Disney pulled no punches. They were just like, you know what? We gonna talk shit.
That is funny as shit, though.
Yeah. And it wasn't like he was just like in there like a cameo. He was kind of like an important character. Like, I mean, he wasn't important, but he had more than one like scene in the movie, and I was like, that's funny. That's fucking funny.
Okay. Yeah, that shit's funny.
So yeah. And then, you know, Disney can do that type of shit. They're like, man, we got money. Y'all sue us? All right, fuck you. We'll give you a chunk of whatever, bro.
I mean,
we gonna snatch this little fucking ugly Sonic right quick that y'all ain't use.
Well, the interesting part about Disney is they went out and, I mean, they made a fucking killing. They got, what'd they buy? They bought Marvel. They bought ILM. And I want to say ABC. So they got like, I mean, they just pulled a hat trick on the motherfuckers, didn't they?
Right.
Because they bought Marvel and all the characters, like Marvel Studios, all of it. They bought.
They don't have all of them yet.
I mean, some of them I mean, some of them, they still some companies still license the rights. Like Sony still has part ownership of Spider-Man.
But see, that's the shit. That's the shit. So we're gonna see. That's why I'm curious. That's why I'm curious to see what old James Gunn was about to do, because apparently that's what this whole Henry Cavill not being Superman is supposed to be all about.
Oh, that man Henry Cavill. He ran with his daggone. I mean, that man pulled a daggone Usain Bolt running over. See, you hear that that he's actually being cast to play Captain Britain?
I heard that he might. Well, I'm not sure if that's 100% true. I know he's going to be in a Warhammer movie. He's working on that.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
Shit.
So, but yeah, I don't know how much true that the Captain Britain one is.
Right.
But yeah, but yeah, that's just it's like he's like one of those characters where I'm like, bro, like Heath Ledger. Like I was upset when that motherfucker died. I was like, for real, why, Heath, why? I would have been your homie. Like, we need that Joker. That Joker was dope.
Okay, but in turn, when you go back and you look. You got the Heath Ledger Joker, which, I mean, for all intents and purposes, that dude was pretty dastardly. You know what I mean?
Right.
Old motherfucker went up to Harvey Dent after he got half his face melted off and was fucking with him while he's in the hospital, right?
Right.
And then walks out the hospital dressed like a nurse and blows the shit up. Like, that's some cold shit.
Right.
Now, take that movie Joker, which I did read that they're actually going to do a second one, which...
Yeah. The second one's coming out, I think, this year.
After that first one, because it took me a while to watch that first one because I was still kind of grieving over the loss of, Heath Ledger. Nah, just kidding. Chatt R Boxx. Yeah, no, I wasn't grieving. It's just funny. But when I did watch that movie, I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker is absolutely insane." Like,
right?
Legit fucking bananas. Like his own mama didn't love him. Like, but what I think is the difference in the two is you've got one, the Heath Ledger, where he's already like dug in and he's already known as the Joker, so his psychotic behavior has already been established, whereas the Joaquin Phoenix version, this dude is some mealy mouth dude. You never know his real name until he totally cracks, and then the dude just, I mean, he's like Humpty Dumpty, but you're not putting him back together, man. He's fucked up. So I like how one is him already established and the other is him at the very beginning of becoming Joker. So
see, and I think you can owe that. You can owe those movies.
Yeah.
To what the hell is it? The damn the sequel to Unbreakable. What the fuck is that shit called?
You're talking about with James McAvoy?
Yeah. And that's what started all those movies. That's what started that trend.
Right.
Which I feel that it should have been a trend way before that. Because when that movie came out and you didn't know what that movie was about, it played like a regular ass movie.
Right.
And then at the end of the fucking movie, spoiler alert. You know what I mean? And that shit drops and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, man.
And then it's like, wow, that's in the same universe. And now everything fits together and you're like, what the hell? And bro, from that shit, I mean, like I said, M. Night Shyamalan, that dude's a hit or miss, man. There's movies where he gets them and he gets it right.
Yep.
Which that was one of them. Yep. But then there's movies and I'm just like, what the fuck?
That's what I thought about. That's what I thought about that movie, The Happening. So there's the scene where the dude just basically steps off the building. Like, this motherfucker just steps off the building. Like, he not giving a fuck. He just steps off the building.